No matter what my father and the forums say, giving up and abandoning this place cannot be our only recourse. It won't be. It won't, and maybe it will. Greetings, honored scions of the Seventh Dawn. I have a message from His Excellency the Satrap. Brave scions, you have my gratitude for aiding my people in this most trying of times. Alas, my here at Magaduta prevent me from meeting you all in person. As a token of my appreciation, I have arranged for a feast to be held in your honor. May it nourish you in preparation for the trials ahead. Such are the words of Master Vitra. The feast he speaks of awaits you at Meridi's Mahan. Pray make your way there whenever your business here is done. We thank you for your kindness. Indeed, I was hoping we might find a place to discuss our next course of action, and that seems an ideal venue. Ah, and to you, Laverne Taubane, there is someone who we had hoped to introduce to you in particular. While I'm loath to detain you further, might you spare a moment of your time? Personal invitation and knowing full well your services are on the highest demand right now? This must be important. Why not? We'll save some food for you, so take it all the time you need. Okay. Who might this be? Thank you, friend. Whenever you're ready, please join me in the FFXIV Plaza. I shall go on ahead. Interesting. Oh. And now I could have teleported, but... Oh no, I could have. I couldn't have. I don't have this one unlocked. Access to the FFXIV, you see, there has been restricted to a select few ever since the tower first appeared. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience, but it was deemed too dangerous to permit the free movement of visitors at a time of emergency, a risk we could not take. In light of recent developments, however, the Satrap has decided that such restrictions would only hinder our efforts to combat the final days. As such, I would encourage you to attune with the FFXIV before proceeding along the corridor. Yes. Thank you. And Hall of the Radiant Host. Might as well teleport there, I guess. Ah, you must be wondering what this place is. You stand in the Hall of the Radiant Host, from where our leadership oversees all of Razathan's military operations. Sundrup, our destination, lies just ahead. Dormant Delegate, Laminson Delegate, Olden Delegate, Guardian Delegates, Shirabat? Interesting. Welcome to Sundrop. Without further ado, allow me to introduce you to... Oh, so you're the famous Laverne Tower Bunny. Hey, I knew it the moment you stepped through the door. You have the look of one who's walked through hell. Actually, not yet. Shirabat, please. You're speaking to the Satrap's honored guest and the savior of our people. Can you not show a modicum of respect? disrespect is there in paying a fellow warrior a compliment? We are all friends here, or will be soon enough. More formally then, for the benefit of my countrymen, it is a pleasure to have you with us, O great champion of Eorzea, scion of the Seventh Dawn, warrior of light, and all around good egg, I'm sure. This talk of X reminds me I'm late for dinner. What is this place? I hear you've been to Kugane, where you'll have all sorts of foreign embassies and whatnot. Well, we've got them here in Wazathan too. The lands send delegates to overseas trade and diplomatic dealings. Then there are military matters to discuss, which is why all these officers are stationed here in Sundrop. I imagine you're more than familiar with each of the nation they represent, yes? We've got representatives from Doma, Oda and Alamigo, Limsa Laminsa, Gridania, and last but never let it be least, Ishgard. They're the eyes, ears, and mouths that bridge the distance between Rathalhan and their respective homelands. We've used this brief respite to share the details of our plight with our overseas counterparts. And wouldn't you know it, all of their leaders requested a few words from you specifically. You're a man in high demand, eh? And so, would you mind regaling us with your own account? Indulge us before you indulge yourself. Sure. I thank you for the report. The conditions under which men are turned to beasts, the etheric anomalies you have observed, you have given us much to consider. It is concerning that the first transformation apparently occurs before the skies turn red. It's contrary to what one would expect. Thankfully, the information you conveyed to Lucia upon your return from the moon has already proved invaluable. As soon as reports of the calamity he and Fafnir reached the Grand Company of Eorzea and our Far Eastern allies, our leaders knew at once that the final days were indeed upon us. They began taking steps to assess the extent of the phenomenon's spread. Our agents were able to confirm that, for the time being, the skies burn only over the Bounty, according to, including this island, and Corvos. Alas, that is of little comfort. Aye, all throughout allied lands, there have been reports of people transforming into hideous beasts. From what little we've learned, these incidents are similar in nature to that involving the merchant Kalzal. As was the case here, the victims underwent the change prior to the heavens being set ablaze, and so, while the burning skies have yet to manifest beyond the Bounty, the transformations do not appear to be subject to any similar restriction. If anyone anywhere overcome by despair can turn, then nowhere is safe. It's about the size of it, speaking of which. We ought to give these creatures a name, don't you think? Here in Wazathan, we've been taken to calling the first to change, which tend to be the biggest, blasphemies. I think I see where this is going. Also, I think the music is a little bit too loud. As fitting a name as any, to ensure clarity in future communications, we shall urge our comrades to adopt this terminology. Our leaders have taken measures to deal with the threat to the best of our abilities. Aye, each nation has assembled their own groups of elite soldiers to put down these so-called blasphemies, their spawn as and when they appear. At the same time, they are doing all in their power to put the people's minds at ease and prevent panic and fear from spreading. That said, brave souls with the strength and fortitude to fell these terrible fiends are not easily found. Just so, and it is for that reason that we turn to you. So, let me tell you where this is going. Gridania, Oda, Limsa, Alamigo, Ishgard. 5 delegates, 5 areas. Tank, healer, ranged DPS, melee DPS, and last but not least, magic DPS. These are the role quests. Just so, and it is for that very reason that we turn to you. Pray lend us your strength and help us to slay the blasphemies that plague our homelands. Now, you don't have to give your reply before dinner. You should also mention that each blasphemy seems to possess wildly different characteristics. What works well against one may serve you poorly against another. So before you go rushing off to save everyone's day, have a word with the delegates. They'll tell you what to expect. And with that, I do believe our friend here has a feast to attend. Spare a thought for us while you're checking into all the fine cuisine, eh? You have gained access to the role quest for Endwalker. Told you. A separate quest line and story is now available for tank, melee DPS, physical range DPS, and magical range DPS. Oh, and healer roles. To undertake these quests, speak with any of the delegates in Sandrep and agree to help defeat the blasphemies that plague their respective homelands. It is time that I level one of each role. Thankfully, which one am I getting currently? Gridania. Okay. So let's see. Gridania is tank. Okay, I guess I have to be higher level. Which one is ranged? Can't tell, huh? Okay. What level do you have to be? Jeez. Oh, I was looking here. So, let's see again. Melee? Nope. Ranged? Nope. Alright. Apparently need to be at least 85, I guess. Alright. In that case, let's actually talk to them a little bit and figure out who's who. Of Aching Souls, that is magical range DPS, excluding limited jobs, 85. So you have to be 85 to get there. Okay. Ishgard, magical DPS. Seeds of Disquiet. Physical ranged is Doma. Far from free. I would assume that Alamigo is melee. Healer, interesting. So far, I would have gone like 0 for 5. And you would be melee then, Lumensa. Yeah. Storm clouds brewing. Okay. I guess I will have to do this very, very soon. I do want to do this like ASAP. Radiant host, a soldier. Pray forgive Shira about her rudeness. She can be a bit boisterous at times, but it is simply her nature. Anyway, my apologies for keeping you from your hard-earned rest. You will be rejoining our companions, yes? Do you know the way to the Mayhem? I know Razathan like the back of my hand. Glad to hear you're becoming familiar with our fair city. You'll be pleased to hear that all drinks are in the house, so order whatever suits your fancy. And with that, I must return to my post. On behalf of all the Radiant host, I thank you and your friends once more for lending your strength and courage to Razathan in our time of need. We shall endeavor to fight the good fight to the end. that we might honor Ahawan's legacy and serve Master Ritual well. You have my word that your efforts will not be in vain. Thanks for taking the time to stop by. You are free to talk with your delegates more if the mood strikes you, or head off to your banquet if you've had your fill of words for the day. Reading the lines of blasphemies is an important task, to be sure, but one that's best done on a full belly and a good night's rest, if you ask me. Do take care of yourself, you hear? I'm going to take that dinner first. Doesn't show me, or does show me quests. That's perfect. I'm back to Melil. But before I do that, let's talk to... Why are you sitting here? Forgive me for not waiting to make a toast. My throat was utterly parched. I'm overdue for a good meal. The threat here has been quelled, but our job's only just begun. I know I must eat to regain my strength, but between you and me, I don't have much of an appetite. You could join us. Milal over there will be happy to take your order. I will take all of everything, please. How was your meeting with the Radiant? Would love to hear more. Of course you would. Welcome. When the satrap asked us to entertain a party of honored guests, I was wondering who it might be. This is a lovely surprise, to say the least. By the way, I heard all about Khazar from your friend Gratia. I understand there was nothing that could be done, but I was heartened to hear he meant us no harm. I cannot thank you enough for dispatching the beasts. As the smallest token of our thanks, your food and drink tonight are Marit's treat. Speaking of which, what shall I start you off with? Water. Just water. No, a piping hot mug of chai, please. As you wish, pray join your friends, and I will bring you your drink. Welcome back. Whatever did the Radiant want with you, pray tell? Our allies have sent military delegates. That's news to me. When sharing the details.
So blasphemies now plague all the realm.
It will only get worse if what Father said is true, as it did in Amarot.
If that's our model, then shouldn't we expect the effects to grow more severe as it feeds off its own spread? As if people transforming into those monstrosities wasn't bad enough. If the flora and fauna, if the land itself turned against us.
No one would survive.
Mm-hmm. That's a big cup of chai.
Here's your order, friend. May you find comfort in these dark times.
She too has a voice actress. I'm glad.
Where do we go from here? If there's one thing we've learned, fighting blindly and simply reacting to what comes will accomplish nothing. We must find a solution that addresses the fundamental cause. before our strength is exhausted, before this crisis spirals out of control. Is there something, anything we've overlooked?
If there is an answer, Hydaelyn herself will have it. 'Twas she who bound Zodiac and forestalled the final days.
Well, he forestalled the final days.
We have heard naught from her since the Tower of Babel. Whether she cannot or will not speak, I can only speculate. Even the flower she gave us is no more.
In our time, we called it Elpis. You would do well to remember the name. Does Elpis bring something in Google?
So advised the Watcher. But what could be the significance of that name? It is entirely unfamiliar to me.
To me as well. It meant something to the ancients, though. In our time.
Okay, so just Google the term. In Greek mythology, Elpis, or and then there's the Greek spelling, is the spirit of hope, usually seen as an extension to suffering by the Greeks, not as a god. She was depicted as a young woman, usually carrying flowers or a cornucopia in her hands. Elpis is perhaps a child of Nyx and mother of Athene, the goddess of fame, renown, and rumor. In Hesiod's Works and the Days, Elpis was the last item in Pandora's box. Based on Hesiod's description, the debate is still alive to determine if Elpis was only a hope, or more generally, expectation. Her equivalent in Roman mythology was Spes. Hesiod's Works and Days. The more famous version of the Pandora myth comes from one of Hesiod's poems, Works and Days. In this version of the myth, Hesiod expands upon her origin and moreover widens the scope of the misery she inflicts on mankind. Pandora brings with her jar containing burdensome toil and sickness that brings death to man, disease, and a myriad other pains. Prometheus had, fearing further reprisals, warned his brother Epimetheus not to accept any gifts from Zeus, but Epimetheus did not listen. He accepted Pandora, who promptly scattered the contents of her jar. As a result, Hesiod tells us, the earth and sea are full of evils. One item, however, did not escape the jar. Hope. Only hope was left within her unbreakable house. She remained under the lip of the jar, did not fly away. Before she could, Pandora replaced the lid of the jar. This was the will of Aegis-bearing Zeus, the cloud-gatherer. Hesiod does not say why hope, Elpis, remained in the jar. The implication of Elpis remaining in the jar were the subject of intense debate even in antiquity. Hesiod closes with his moral, thus it is not possible to escape the mind of Zeus. So that's interesting. More and more Greek mythology.
Most surely. Yet I do not recall a single mention of it in the records of Anida.
Another dead end. And quite literally. It's not as if there are any ancients living we could go and ask.
Not alive as such, but not quite dead.
Oh.
Elidibus. I sealed him in the White Horus site at the Crystal Tower back on the first.
You did indeed.
Contained within that reservoir of ether that maintains it, ether that is returned little by little to the sea. Naught may remain of his soul. However, if part of it lingers, we might be able to speak with him there. I know we can no longer make that journey, but you, my friend, still can.
It would be an opportunity to look in on the others as well.
Thank you, my friend. That would mean much to me.
I had meant to do this
Nothing else.
anyway.
Should we learn the First is safe, we'll have that much more reason to keep fighting the good fight. That said, the odds are not in our favor, to say the least. Which is why we're fortunate to have Urianger up there on the moon, working hard to make all the necessary preparations for our departure, should it come to it.
And why we have nothing to lose by staying the course till the last instant.
Indeed. To the last, let us all do what we can. I will consult with Master Matoya and see if she knows of a way to reach Hydaelyn from the Ethereal Sea.
And I will visit the nation's leaders and attempt to ascertain how far the final days have progressed elsewhere.
Keep me abreast of your findings. I can seek out and slay the worst of the immediate threats, if only to slow the spread.
Unease, terror, despair. Try as we might to suppress them, these emotions will return to harry us time and time again. But when they do, remember this. Your friends and loved ones are out there somewhere, sharing in your struggle. You are not alone.
You are not alone indeed.
Ends the brief respite before the next revelation. Yes, so much left for you to see. Where beginning ends and end begins.
I kind of feel like this is the halfway point for the expansion. Quite literally. Nothing like a feast to lift the spirits. I trust you enjoyed yourself as well. If the foreman truly has been spurred to action by Hydaelyn's prophecy, then is it not odd that the anti-tower was entrusted to Master Matoya, who bears them no love? I doubt she has a reason for this, and I would know what it is. Beasts and blasphemies may be running amok in nearby lands outside the influence of Azad Han and the lions. If so, I may need to go hunting. The final days, how far has the phenomenon spread, and how does it manifest itself in each land? I must reach out to my friends in each nation and find out all I can. Well, I suppose I do feel better on a full stomach after all. Burning skies, blasphemies, not if I've got anything to say about it. Now then, is there anything we've forgotten to mention? Are your arms and armor in good order? In that case, it's time we each attended to our task. When you arrive on the first, give my regards to Reen. Tell her I miss her. I shall. Oh, higher. Should Reen ask questions, don't hide the truth from her. If anything, see if she has any insights to offer. She is not a child in need of protection, but a comrade we should be willing to rely upon, even if a part of me may always beg to differ. Ah, dead crit. Return to the Crystarium. We are now truly one level higher. Level 86 main scenario quest unlocked. Gratia has something he wishes to give you. If it isn't a gift for Lyra, I'm going to be very disappointed. Sorry, one of my, I have a Viara who's called Lyra, so I'm always mixing the both up. Take this, Laverne, my spirit vessel. Oh, so we can go back and forth. Empty now, of course, but it should allow you to operate the tower systems in the Umbilicus. If even the smallest fragment of Elizabeth's essence remains, it should be possible to locate it. As for access to the Umbilicus, pray seek out Lena for assistance. Chances are she still stands watch at the Ascensor's gate. Should she or anyone else ask after me, tell them I'm living my life to the fullest, that I am happy, hardships and all. Well, we had best be on our respective ways. Good's willing, we will see each other again ere long. Speak with Lena. I did not expect to go back here. I did not expect this. I was thinking of going here and just check up on people. No red skies. Oh, the music. I know I could fly. I do not wish to do so. For now, I just want to listen to the night theme of Lakeland. This is going to be hard. Alright. Let's go. Laverne, you are returned. Have you been well? You and the others? We have no shortage of troubles, but we're well enough. And things are much the same for you as they are here. My lord is doubtless enjoying himself. He said this to you? These exact words? Oh, to know that he is happy, it fills my heart with joy. Thank you, Laverne, for taking care of him. When next you see him, please tell him not to overexert himself. Futile a request, that although it is. And tell him that all is well here. The peace you gifted us continues, and we work hard to build new lives for ourselves. In the course of this, we occasionally bicker, but we've never been more optimistic for the morrow. If I had to mention one dilemma, it would be the question of our governance. Even as we speak, the debate rages on over how we should run the city in the Exarch's absence. Most of a mind that the settlement council should continue to oversee the general running of the Crystarium, or representatives are elected to determine policy and handle diplomacy. Thus far, nothing is set in stone, but however we choose to proceed, we will not replace our Lord. No one could. Have you recently observed any unusual phenomena? No, I cannot say there have been. Curious that you should ask me this question, though. Some days ago, Reen came and asked the very same. She was rather unsettled, in stark contrast to how cheerful she has been of late. She and other Crystarium youths have hosted a festival, you see. It proved so popular that there are already plans for another celebration, one much bigger than the first. Between her preparations for the festival and the restoration of the empty, she struck me as happy and full of life. So when I saw her in a state of such worry, I couldn't help but feel worried in turn, especially since she wouldn't tell me what troubled her. I dare say she would be more willing to confide in you. I ask you to broach the subject with her. You wish to enter the Obelicus? Very well, I shall fetch the key at once, and take the opportunity to find Reen. Please wait for me in the city, in front of the Cabinet of Curiosity, shall we say? I will be along as soon as I can. The Exarch Gates. Back here. I can't believe it. I know I could teleport. I do not wish to do so. The following event cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending duty finder registrations. It cannot be skipped. Do my old eyes deceive? Is it truly Laverne? Hello there. How it is, full glad I am to see you hale and whole, my friend. What a wonderful surprise it is to have you back with us, and at the most opportune time. In case you haven't heard, we are planning to produce a tome chronicling events from the Flood to the Knight's return. For this project, we intend to draw upon records kept by the world's people. Historically, a contemporary first-hand account will be the centerpiece of the term, but yours would be the one to crown them all. I've been asked to contribute a chapter on the soul, a subject that is key to understanding much of your endeavors. In the course of developing the spirit vessel, I gained valuable insights into traveling beyond the rift, knowledge that will allow me to attest to your existence and deeds. You're welcome. There's no end to the questions I would ask you, but if you would indulge me just one for now. In your quest to restore the night, you faced many a formidable foe. Among them, who offered you the greatest struggle? This may come as a surprise, but no, it has to be Hades. I'm not sure which option this is, but I'm going to go with Hades. Ah, Hades, he who sought to resurrect his ancient brethren. He was the final obstacle in your quest to restore the night. The battle in the depths of the tempest, the stuff of epics. Yet compelling as it is, I worry that mere words wouldn't do justice to that fateful confrontation. Not what we would think to omit it entirely, of course. No, at the very least, we will impress upon readers that it was the climax of your hero's journey. I know you'd love to talk his ear off, Morin, but we really should be on our way. Those documents from Newmore won't collect themselves. Of course, and afterwards, would you care to join me for tea? I was hoping you might clarify a few points in your treaties. Till next time then, do tell the others to look after themselves. Our overzealous friend in particular, remind him not to overexert himself. Again and again, till his ears fall off, if that's what it takes for him to take it to heart. Is that the Warrior of Darkness? Aw, it's you three. It's him, it's really him. What are you doing here? If you're going to battle, can I give you some medicine? I made it myself. Oh no. Best not, Ricky. You'd only give him a stomachache. We've come to see Morin to get his advice. One of the guards finally agreed to teach us how to fight, but first we need to choose a fighting style. While I know that I want to be a mage, Arkell isn't sure. Magic isn't really my thing, so I was thinking of taking up the axe, or the sword, or maybe the bow. They all seem alright, but it's hard to decide. So I thought I'd ask Morin. He knows about lots of things. Nope. He isn't here? Aww. Uh-oh. Why don't you have the War of Darkness choose for you? What do you think suits Arkell best? Axe, sword, or bow? I forgot what his deal was. Can I check? Come on, Game Escape. Come on, Game Escape. Here's his dialogue. Alright, nothing that I can see here. Nothing that would help. I'm gonna go with for protecting your friends, the sword. The sword. If you took up the sword, you could be just like Brandon, the Warrior of Light. I love that tale. Let's borrow the book today. It's really popular, though. I hope it's still there. Thanks for helping me decide, Warrior of Darkness. I'll start with that style and maybe try something else later on. Maybe when I get really strong, I hope to have a bout with you. Good luck. Who else? Such fun he's been having basking in the adoration of musty old bookworms and wide-eyed younglings. But does he spare a thought for me? Of course not. Titania. I waited and waited and waited, but he won't so much as acknowledge the presence of his beautiful branch, even though they are right here. Such a heartless thing our sapling is, cold and cruel and heartless. Oh faithful Feoul, loveliest of branches, how have I missed you? If you truly missed me, you should have cried for me at the top of your lungs the instant you arrived. To make up for it, you will call with twice the passion next time, though for there to be a next time, you have some struggles to overcome. So, my adorable sapling, the world isn't on the verge of destruction, is it? Hey, how do I know this? Joined as we are, spying on you is as simple as sliding down the back of a rainbow. Would that I could aid you in your quest, but the fate of we fae folk is bound to that of the star. With the ray goes, so too do we follow. Such is our way. The most I could do for you is spare you the pain by gifting you the sweetest of eternal dreams. But if escape's not to your liking, then you must struggle with your fellow mortals. But there are ones you are waiting for. I wonder what manner of conclusion awaits at the tale's end. Bye! Oh, I'm so glad we spoke to Feoul. Hey! My apologies for the delay. Laverne, it's so wonderful to see you again. You doubtless have much catching up to do, so I shall leave you to it. I've taken the liberty of unlocking the umbilicus, and you may enter at your leisure. Thank you. How about, Reen, we go and get some coffee biscuits? I'm relieved to hear that everyone is well. I've had this feeling like a pit in my stomach, and I was afraid that something might have happened. Maybe I'm overthinking things, but it's just that... I'm the Oracle of Light, but I've never spoken with Heidelin, never once heard her call. Even so, I've always had this feeling deep inside me, a connection to something immense. These past few days, though, that connection has wavered, as if that immense something was distant, then close, then distant again. And then, the other night, I was jolted awake by the feeling it had been completely severed. Wanting some fresh air, I went to open the window, and to my horror, the sky was ablaze, like during the star shower. But then I blinked and everything was normal. The next day, no one said a thing, no one else had seen what I had seen. As far as I could tell, nothing was out of the ordinary. I began to wonder if it was a figment of a half-remembered dream. Laverne, what are you not telling me? I have to know, please. It doesn't matter how terrible it is. It was my imagination then. The doom we witnessed in Amarat has come again. I can't believe it. Like I told you before, all is well here in the First. So don't worry about us, please. Look only to the threat before you. We're fine right now, and even if we weren't, we've learned how to survive. If the final days reach us here as well, you may be assured we won't go quietly. No, we'll hold on till you can find a way to save all our worlds. So long as you continue your fight, so too will we, united in purpose beneath a blazing sky. I did say that I would pick up a weapon finally, so let's do this. Manganese sword. I'm actually going to keep that. That looks okay. That fits. Fits with the style. I'm okay with that. Hope upon a flower. I'm not gonna go that much longer because it is nearly 5 AM. I do want to see where this is led. You're headed to the Umbilicus to consult with Elizabeth, right? I'll do some consulting of my own and speak with Lena. Decide how we might best prepare for the following days. So it's a farewell for now, but we'll see each other again, certain of it. We've lived through the flood and the tyranny of the Light Wardens. We're survivors. Do what you need to do, and know that we will do too. Okay. Let's be about it then. This game. I was not expecting this. I'm glad. I'm really, really glad we're going back to the First. I'm glad we spoke with Lena. Glad we spoke with Reen. Having talked to Fair All is always good. Like you need to talk to Fair All. There should be a pop-up every time you go to Litra Laran that gives you the option to talk to her. Sorry. Not even the option, you have to talk to them, period. Ah, Master Laverne. Welcome back. The captain has taught me all. Give the word, and I will show you to the ocular.